Screen. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Mike, you got a different background.
I do? I can't even tell what my background is. I don't think I have any background, do I?
Yeah, it's a sunset over a lake, I think.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I should change that.
Instead of that closet look.
Yeah, I'm still in the same Harry Potter closet.
Harry Potter closet. Hey, Amy, did you see Matt's chat wanting to be promoted? Matt Kretzinger.
Yeah, I was going to live YouTube. Does Gabby need promoted?
No.
Do you see this vision and mission? Is that the right one being shared?
Yes.
Okay.
Lisa, do you have a house for your background?
That was my house, Matt.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to try it tonight.
So far, so good, B.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Just be ready, Sean.
Okay.
Nora, did you get my email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get mine?
Yeah.
Saying it's coming. Sorry about that.
That's why I thought you'd love to get it. Hi, Paulette.
Hi.
So cosmic, Matt. So many choices, Matt.
I have maybe spent a little bit of time with backgrounds.
I see. I just hope to stay on.
I hope so too.
Can you find me a background that'll cut my hair?
I've got a pair of clippers. I just need 10 minutes.
Can't you get into a beauty shop yet?
Friday. Let's see. 47
I can
out
do that
now.
for you.
Not to be picky, but Aspirations Day Spa here in town does haircuts and they're taking appointments.
I have an appointment in 95 hours.
Are you actually counting, Paulette?
Yes. Absolutely. I can't wait. B, I have received no comments regarding the public hearing
Okay.
when the time comes.
I'm not near a clock, so somebody's going to have to let me know.
4:58.
Will you be back from the beach by then, Mike?
I'm back now. Just dreaming.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Karina.
Hello.
Will you turn on your video? Thanks. It's more better, as the kids would say. Is Bob the only one we need?
It's 5 o'clock.
Do we want to give Bob a minute and see if he logs on?
Is Jan planning on being here?
Oh, I forgot. I thought I counted 7. Wonder who besides. I haven't heard anything. Have you, Theron?
I have not.
Well, maybe we'll go ahead and get started, and as long as it's 5 o'clock, and hope that they join us soon. So I call this virtual board meeting to order. It's the time in many different places on May 18th. Welcome to all of you who are joining us on Zoom and to those of you who will be watching us on delayed broadcast at a later time. Please read with me the mission statement for the Marshalltown Community School District. We develop learners who have the knowledge, skills, and positive mindset to successfully pursue a meaningful future through personalized learning experiences. And would you join me in the pledge as soon as we see the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Yes, Nora?
Yes, on the personnel consent agenda, there were several last minute, 5 last minute resignations of certified staff that are highlighted in yellow. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. So those 5 resignations of certified staff were added. Also, 1 buildings and grounds addition as a hire for a utility carpenter and electrician, highlighted yellow. And then finally, a change of contract for a teacher, moving grade levels within the same building, same salary and everything, just a change of that grade level. So those are some additions to the consent agenda, the personnel one.
Could you read those for us as long as it's not showing on the screen right now?
Sure. So for the resignations that we have of staff, we have Mabel Kurian, who is a special ed teacher at Lenahan. Lori Buckwald, who is an ELL teacher at Lenahan. Emily Valberg, who is a special education teacher at the high school. Steve Malone, who is a special education teacher at Miller. And then Anna Wolvers, who is a special education teacher at Rogers. Those are the 5 resignations. There we go. Those in yellow I just read. And then if you scroll down to page 3, Buildings and Grounds, Chris Blanchard will be replacing Eldon Stanley. And then on page 4, Sarah Nichols and Hoagland will be moving from 1st grade to the 4th grade. And that is as a result of a reduction of class size and a resignation from a 4th grade teacher.
Thank you.
Nora, did we have resolution language as well?
That's its own, that's on the agenda.
Yeah, but we need to add it.
Okay, so also added to the agenda in section 4 called Education 4.01, COVID-19. You folks passed a pandemic resolution, and we have, if you scroll down please to, I think it's page 6, I think it's the final page, some edits to the language given the Iowa Department of Public Health. Prior, you had, if you were traveling for non-essential purposes, you had to self-quarantine or self-isolate for 14 days. And now it's been recommended by our legal team that we change that to you don't need to self-isolate. You do need to report your travel itinerary, excuse me, and whether you have any basis to believe that you've been exposed to the COVID virus. And then you may be required to use leave if you are restricted due to possible exposure. So just that language in that one paragraph speaking to that non-essential travel has changed, or is a recommended change up for approval.
And that's only for non-essential travel.
Correct. And that non-essential travel is considered if you travel 50 miles or more from the district, or if you congregate in a group of 10 or more. Those 2 things constitute what non-essential travel is.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Remember to give your names first, but I think I have it. Miller Hernandez.
Sorry.
Oh, good. That's fine. I just can't always see your picture. Miller Hernandez. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. And are we still short 2 members? Amy?
Yes, they're still not here.
Okay, would you let me know when they do arrive?
Yes.
Thank you. So the motion carries 5-0. It's now time to open the public hearing on the proposed resolution to consider continued participation in the instructional support program. Paulette, did we receive any requests to speak?
I did not.
Is there anyone in the audience at this time that would like to speak to that item? Then I will close the public hearing on the resolution to consider continued participation in the instructional support program. Mr. Sodders, you have a number of recognitions.
Yes, we do again tonight, and I'm going to let Theron, there's 2 of them on there that he will address, and then I will address the other 2.
Well, I want to open up by providing thanks to Larry Raymond and Raymond Donko for recently, as of today, actually dropping off 750 cloth masks to be made available to our employees that will be involved in both collecting and bagging and getting ready for distribution students' personal belongings since we entered into break back in early March, and then when we disseminate the last week of June. So we're asking our employees that participate in that to be screened when they come, but then also either to bring their own mask or to use one of the masks that are provided. So that was a significant contribution from Larry and his company that we really appreciated, and I know our staff will appreciate as well. I want to also mention, we don't have this listed, but we were deeply saddened shortly after the last board meeting to hear of the passing of Rosemary Stansberry, who was employed as a paraeducator for us for many, many years. She had been battling some health-related issues this year, but we extend our thoughts and prayers to her family. Ben Stansberry and Laura were, Ben was a nephew. And then also we're additionally saddened to hear of a longtime employee, Dwayne Meyer, who started off his career many years ago as a teacher at Anson, and within a relatively short period of time came over to the dark side of administration. Most of his 40-year career was spent as an elementary principal, serving Franklin, Glick, and Rogers elementary schools. I know, and having known him personally, he was one of the most positive supporters you could imagine of our school district. Loved his career, credited all the staff that he worked with for his career. So again, our thoughts and prayers go out to both Rosemary and Dwayne's families during these difficult times. Also, happy to have Maya, Diana, and Carmen with us, who we wanted to bring back one more time. They were our student school board representatives, and wanted to personally thank them for providing their service during this shortened COVID year, and hope that that they receive mutual benefit through that service and learning and growing as student leaders. And I think we've got them connected in with us if they'd like to say a few words. Maya, we need to unmute you, or you need to unmute. There you go.
I just wanted to say that I've learned a lot from this experience and I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Do we have Diana or Carmen on?
Yeah, I wanted to say that it was really fun to learn how the school handles things and how much they actually care about the student. And I thought that was really cool to know and experience firsthand.
Carmen available?
Yeah, I'm just on the road, but I wanted to say that I learned a lot about how the school works, a lot of patience, and overall it was a really neat experience getting to see everyone week after week. Well, not week after week, but meeting after meeting. So that was my take on it.
Sometimes it seemed like week after week, didn't it?
It really did.
Well, we really want to thank the three of you. You were great role models in serving in those roles. I know that the board and administrative team looked forward to and enjoyed hearing your updates on what all was happening, both with you as well as in the high school in general. We do have a small token of appreciation for you that we will do our best to get to you prior to the end of the year here. And if you know of any good candidates in either the junior or senior class that should be considering following in your footsteps, please reach out and encourage them to apply.
But they have to be as good as you guys were. You were just great for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and then.
And sorry, really quick, Adam, I just wanted to tell B that Bob is now on with us.
Thank you.
Yep.
And for the rest of our recognitions tonight, I wanted to give you guys an update on the National History Day students. They came before the board a couple of meetings ago, I believe. At that time, they had qualified for state. Just a quick update on them. They had a very strong showing at state. Two of them, Avery Bolar and Jason Strand, qualified for the National History Day contests. So that'll be really neat to see how they end up doing at that level. And then Claudia Hernandez also did an excellent job at state, and she earned a third place award there as well. So, and then just another recognition, National School Nurses Day was May 6th. It was a little after the last board meeting. And we just wanted to, obviously school nurses are just one of many, many groups within our school community that have been working their tails off here recently. I know our school nurses have been making sure that folks are screened as they come into the district, folks who are working at the buildings and on the grounds, and they help out with face masks and other materials, and they just generally do a great job for us. So we just wanted to recognize them. And I think that is it for tonight for recognitions.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Looking at the minutes for the last board meeting, are there any additions or corrections to those? Any items of note in personnel other than the ones you mentioned, Nora?
No, ma'am.
Looking at interagency agreements and contracts, we have quite a few. We have a memorandum for understanding with Luther College for student clinical field experiences, including student teaching. We have a client agreement with Vector Solutions for K-12 education software for the exceptional child in the amount of $1,875, which will be used by special education teachers. a memorandum of understanding with IJAG for the high school, and one for Miller Middle School. We have an agreement with school administrators for their mentoring and induction program of new administrators. We have an amendment to the master service agreement with the high school. Proposal for the Waldinger Corporation for work at Miller Middle School in pipe insulation. A memorandum of agreement with MEA for the career tree facilitators for the 2021 school year, and also for the remainder of this school year, May 15th to June 30th. We have one level 3 student out to Des Moines. Are there any questions on any of those? Looking at open enrollments, it looks like we have one denial for the 2021 school year, which came in past deadline. Are there any items of note in bills?
No.
Any questions by the board in the financial report? Looking at the disposition of obsolete equipment for 150 high school band uniforms. They are in acceptable quality and will be sold online. Are there any questions on any of the items in the consent agenda? May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Baltus.
I didn't get it. Sean, you did what?
I think Sarah had the motion. I will second.
Okay, Baltus, Heitman. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The motion carries 6-0. No one wrote in requesting public comment, Paulette?
No, I received no written comments.
Okay. Moving on to date for us. We need to do the COVID resolution first. Okay. Backing up just a hair.
I was gonna say, I already touched on the change, if anybody had any questions, I guess.
Okay. Are there any questions for Dr. Ryan? May I have a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
Miller, move for approval.
Heitman, second.
Miller, Heitman, thank you, gentlemen. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries 6-0. Now, Dr. Stevenson.
Summer school update. It's hard to believe we're thinking about summer school, but actually, we're kind of excited. We're taking a twist on our Bobcat U this summer, and wanted to give you an update because much of the expenses that will be incurred this summer for summer school were already pre-approved from the board back in January when we approved the district at-risk budget. So I wanted to give you an update on what's happening in terms of summer school. I suppose if there was ever a summer when I felt like kids needed summer school, this would be one of the most highly thought of because of this interruption of learning we've had. But we will not be partnering with Micah. We will not be outsourcing the contract to do contracted work for summer school, mostly because we have to offer summer school in a virtual format this summer. due to the pandemic. So much of the work that Micah supported in terms of the enrichment opportunities, the field trips, the extended learning, just are not able to happen in the community this summer. So for that reason, we'll be doing virtual summer school. And I'm just going to go through a few pieces of what that will look like. So at this point, Micah will still be offering a pre-K and K transition camp. Kinder camp is what it's usually called, at Rogers, Woodbury, and Anson. And that will be in late July or early August. And that's assuming that we can do that in person. So more details on that will be forthcoming as the health situation progresses. Most of you are aware that our learning in Marshalltown has been happening from a website called Learn From Home. And I'm happy to say that the Learn From Home website will continue to run during the summer. It'll be open from June 15th to July 31st. So during those 7 weeks, teachers will be working under the direction of Erica Finders, Tanya Gaffney, and Jen O'Neill, who are current TLC employees, who will be working with a teacher from each grade level. And we'll be reaching out to teachers in a Google form this week to see who's still interested in helping now that working conditions have changed for the summer. So students in pre-K3 will still get weekly math and reading lessons, as well as science and social studies at Lenahan. We will still continue to run paper packet copies of those lessons on Fridays, with distribution on Mondays and Tuesdays, either via bus routes and or at the schools, depending on our bus meal route delivery for the summer. And communication about the Learn From Home website continuation will be broadly shared out with families, either through their report card envelopes the week of June 1st to the 5th, as well as Adam's been helping send out an Infinite Campus message every Sunday, and we continue to use social media to encourage families to have their children spend time learning from home. The Bobcat University that you are familiar with at K3 happens at each of our 6 sites. And what we're doing this summer is offering 1 hour of synchronous instruction through the Google Meet format by grade level at each site. So there are targeted at-risk students that were identified in January with our reading and math screeners. They were invited at parent-teacher conferences in March to attend summer school, and that invitation still stands. It just looks a little bit different. So the teachers who are hired for this synchronous teaching will have an hour of instruction around reading and math, as well as some time built into their schedule to do outreach with those families to ensure that kids really are logging in and continuing their learning throughout the summer. Each of the 6 buildings will have a lead teacher that will be identified to help support the coordination of that work. And then a special education teacher also who can support students who have IEPs, who may have been invited to Bobcat U. Our communication methods will be the same as the Learn From Home website. And then continuing on up the grade levels in the district, we will still offer a Bobcat U at Lenahan. That's for incoming 5th graders and incoming 6th graders. Those students were identified in a similar fashion in January and invited. That program will also run for 7 weeks. And then this will be our first summer that we wanted to launch Bobcat U at Miller. And so we're trying to get a program up and running for incoming 7th graders and 8th graders who also had been invited at conferences, who will get support in reading, math, science, and social studies this summer through a synchronous instruction, hour of instruction daily. We're really hopeful that our middle schoolers are willing to get up, log in, and learn with their teachers for an hour. And then similarly, we'll still run our credit recovery program at MHS in June. Mrs. Wyant directs that program, and will help kids who need to recover credits and or still work to graduate. That runs from June 9th to June 25th. MLA teachers also help under Mr. Goslinga's instruction to provide a similar format for MLA students who are hoping to recover credits or graduate. And lastly, the last program that we're launching was summer school at-risk funding. is a 9th grade transition program. They're working with Mr. Ryle and the other administrators at MHS to get a virtual elective credit that can be given to students if they take this high school 101 class that's being developed. So that class actually runs July 13th to July 31st, and more information will be coming out to those students via the high school in a couple weeks. So we've been busy behind the scenes getting us ready to move on to the next phase of learning for our students, and super helpful. We've had so much help from the tech department in terms of being flexible about the kids keeping their devices in the summer, and really pinpointing which students need Wi-Fi hotspot access so that this virtual learning can happen. It's not what we planned or what we wanted, but I feel good about the opportunities that are going to keep going for our students.
Questions for Lisa?
Yeah. So how many kids are being invited per building for elementary building?
It'll still be the same number of kids that were originally on the invites at parent-teacher conferences. So I think that is up to 15 students at K3 per teacher per building. That's for the synchronous learning part. And then any kid in the district can learn from the Learn From Home website.
And then how are you assuring that every child has internet to have that 1 hour of instruction with the teacher? Are they going to be hotspots or?
Yeah, so what we did was we went back through that survey that Amy Harmson's been talking to you guys about, and then I shared the rosters of the kids who had been invited in March. And then she and her team cross-checked those names to see who had indicated they didn't have Wi-Fi access. And then they're doing a distribution of devices to those families.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep. And we are fingers crossed, Karina, someday we'll be back to normal and taking kids swimming and horseback riding, because it is summer. We want to learn and learn inside and learn outside.
Do you have a plan as far as maybe adding something on the website for those virtual enrichment activities that are being offered, I don't know, statewide, nationwide? Just for anybody to just jump in?
Not at this time, but that's a good suggestion. We could probably put like a separate link to like virtual summer field trips or vacations or something. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the parks and libraries have been sharing resources.
Other questions for Lisa? Thank you very much. Jackie.
Good evening.
Hello.
Tonight I'd like to talk about our plan for the class of 2020's graduation ceremony. As much as we would like to have it be the traditional pack the roundhouse event with all of our families and friends, we do want to remain in compliance with the CDC recommendations, Iowa Department of Public Health recommendations, as well as the governor's orders. And so at this time, the plan is, the recommendation is that their social distancing is enacted and that groups remain at 10 or less. So with that, keeping that in mind and recognizing that the roundhouse with its iconic nature is an important feature and a memory for many of the graduates from MHS, we have looked at a way to celebrate each graduate with their family present in the roundhouse. So if you can imagine from a 1,000-foot view looking down at the roundhouse, and in your mind's eye see a car or cars arriving at a designated time into the auditorium parking lot with a couple of people in the parking lot with them, but nobody's getting out of their car because they've been told to wait until they've been dismissed from their car. So now the first group dismisses from their car and proceeds to a table, station number 2, where they check in and receive a envelope that has their graduation regalia, things like honor cord, silver cord, MVP medal, their 5-gallon blood donation cord, things like that. NHS stole, so that they can begin to put that on as they begin as a family group to process onto, we've decided to use Bobcat pause rather than X's as a group moving to different stations. There would probably be staff seated in the now closed Bobcat Boulevard, applauding them, congratulating them, and reminding them to stay with as a group in the designated areas. Once the group arrives to the gym, the student will hand a name card to Lydia Arevalo, the 12th grade counselor, at the podium at the entrance of the gym. And she will announce the student. The family then will proceed to a designated area right up against the east bleachers. And so they would stay there as the student processes up to the stage, which is at the center court of the roundhouse. And sitting on the table, because we've had radios, will be the student's diploma cover with a diploma in it. That is unusual because normally it's not in there, but the diploma will be in the cover and the student will receive it off of the table. Staff will have already placed it there. The picture of the student receiving the diploma will be taken by Stalzers, as has been traditionally done. The student then will proceed away from the stage as the next family comes in and Lydia announces the next name, and go to this photograph station where they will have their picture taken in front of the American flag, another tradition. And by then the family will have met the student and they will proceed to the exit and be asked to immediately leave, as we will not have any loitering in the parking lot. One of the things I did fail to mention as the student is going towards the stage, KFJB would read the senior accomplishments like we would normally do on a senior award night during our athletic seasons. So just a way to celebrate the accomplishments of the student. Lots of staff want to be present and be able to applaud and clap for the student reaching this milestone. And we're pretty confident that we can move this along as long as everybody arrives in their designated time frame into the parking lot and follow the directions carefully as the staff guides them along the way.
Questions for Jackie?
Jackie, is part of the plan also to do part of the ceremony virtually?
Yes, Theron, thank you for reminding me of that. Our procession of graduates will start at 2, but we will have a pre-program, the pre-videotaped program that features the graduation speech from our board president, graduation speech from Dr. Shootie, myself, the students who can audition. So we have students audition to be speakers during the graduation ceremony. A few students choose to perform during the graduation ceremony. So all of those things will be videotaped and presented approximately 1 o'clock before the ceremony starts, and that would be broadcasted across multiple media for graduates to watch and or listen to as they make their way to the auditorium parking lot for their assigned times. And that today we were trying to figure out how we get the anthem singers, a performance of the anthem singers, which has also been traditional, as well as the music director, band director is currently working on a way to provide the pomp and circumstance. So pomp and circumstance would be right at the end. Well, first the national anthem and then pomp and circumstance, and that would transition us into the students processing into the auditorium.
I may have missed it, but you're not looking at requiring masks at this point, huh?
Yeah, we are not, because it's just the student and the family pretty much in the gym. The rest, any other staff members here in the gym will be back away from the table in gown and hood, like staff or like teachers or administrators. And the one counselor at the podium. Otherwise, everybody's outside. There's really nobody else but the student and the family inside the gymnasium.
And we'll continue to evaluate those things as we get closer to June 28th, which is the designated Sunday. We've also talked about school board member involvement. Obviously, this process is going to probably take longer than a traditional graduation in terms of the logistics. So we will likely offer to the board members that would like to participate, like staggered times, or maybe, if it's a 4 or 5 hour affair, that, if we can have at least one board member there for at least an hour. There may be some that are willing to do longer than that, but it would be nice to have at least a board member there as the students are coming through. We've talked about creating cardboard replicas of you guys, so we can all there and thought. We're still working on that one.
The same has been offered to the staff, that maybe they can't stay for the entire time, but they could come for an hour or two and then swap out. And the pieces that they all recognize is the helping everyone to be socially conscious by maintaining their distance from the group on either side of them as they proceed towards the gymnasium. And the backup plan for rain is that we do have the new auxiliary gym, so we would enter through one door and provide the paw prints or X's or boxes or whatever that keep families separated and bring students around on the track to do the same procession.
One of the things that I'm really excited about with this idea is that it can really be a family event, and that not just the families sitting in the stands, but despite not having a normal graduation ceremony, families, I think we'll have a maximum number, whether that be 10 or 6 or whatever, can actually come in with their graduate up to the stage area and be directly a part of that portion of the experience.
So that's the plan as of today.
Correct.
Thank you very much for making the plans and sharing them with us.
Jackie, do you want to just do a promo about the senior awards ceremony as well?
Absolutely. We have begun to record different aspects of the senior awards. If you've been at one of those ceremonies, the community members who speak on behalf of the legacy that the scholarship is provided in name of frequently come to the stage and read the background information about the legacy, and then presents formally to the student who receives. So many times they do not know that they're receiving the scholarship. So just last week, I participated in a meeting like this with a presenter, and we recorded his presentation where he announced the name of the recipient. And so he was able to review his video and say whether or not he liked it and wanted to do another take. We did do a couple of takes while we were together. It took us less than 15 minutes to do that. So then we have a staff member who will piece all of those parts together and have an entire show that will be aired on June 3rd at 7 p.m. We will send that link out to all of our constituents for Marshalltown Community School District, as well as work with Adam to get it published in the paper and things like that. One of the things that's unique about this senior class is they're all Gear Up recipients. So technically every single one of them is receiving a scholarship of about approximately $1,200 a year. And so it's pretty exciting. So it'll be a little longer broadcast than we've had in the past. Normally it's been about 2 hours. But again, we want to take the time to recognize their academic achievements as well in that Wednesday night broadcast.
Indeed. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We'll look forward to that.
Thank you.
Rex. We had some questions for you as a board at the last time that you presented to us. Do you have some answers for us?
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. we put together to try and answer the questions about why do we need the software, what we're looking at. And so I want to go through the PowerPoint with you to give you a little bit better insight and hopefully answer some of your questions. The next first slide is the communication and operational efficiency. What are we trying to do? We're asking to go from our Pro software to Plus, and to work our key things on the communication and operation are our two key focuses here. And in that, when we look at that, what are we wanting to do? Amy, go ahead to the next slide, please. Really build this level of confidence in that people know what is going on, and be able to get things out in real time. Last year we had a accident where a car hit the bus from behind on icy roads, and we couldn't get information out quick enough, and by the time it got out, people were injured and this and that, and we had a lot of correction to do on that, because students can get things out quicker than we can sometimes, and then parents share that out. And with the new software, whether the parent opts in or doesn't opt in, we can put out to the specific bus or to anybody that rides in our, has bus information, whether they walk to school or whatever. We'll be able to push information out. And that's really one of those big things that we want to be able to get information out fairly quicker than what we have in the past, because in the past process has been getting the information to Andrew, now to Adam, and then they get information out, and that just really complicates some things. And by working with Adam, everything, we can prepare it correctly after the administration's been notified and get information sent out quickly to parents. If a bus is running behind schedule, bus for some reason we're ahead of schedule, all those information, getting that out. Also, getting information here to the office if a mechanical issue. We're going to be able to see that and be able to work with that in our mechanics and getting that bus, either getting a new bus out there or getting that corrected. So that's the big thing is that communication piece. Next slide, please, Amy. By upgrading to Transponder Plus, better communication equals better student safety. We don't have parents trying to get someplace or with misinformation and kids giving it misinformation, that whole combination there. We just feel very strongly with the Plus software, we're going to be able to communicate that out and reassure everybody that the student is safe. We can push it out quicker. Again, like I said, they don't have to opt in. We can push things out to them if we have their information correct in the student information system. We can push things out and have accurate information versus what you see sometimes on social media or whatever. We can provide that accurate information going out. Again, parents can opt in, but that doesn't stop them from getting information to us if they don't opt in. The opt-in part is, well, they'll get that time of bus arrival and everything like that. They'll still get, we can push out to them when their bus will be there. But if they want the ETA type of thing, then they can opt in for that. And the beautiful thing too is the two-way communication. What we send out, they can also send messages to us through this same thing, and it doesn't have to go through like a email or anything. It's a direct communication back and forth with the Plus software. Go ahead to the next slide, Amy, please. Operational efficiency. Again, currently we have no means to really monitor what's going on with the bus, where that bus is at. We have to call and find their location. Through this process, at any time, whether they're in our district, out of our district on a field trip, we are going to be able to know where that bus is and its location at all times. If something's going wrong with that bus, and this is the nice part, there's down in Des Moines, Iowa, something is not right on the bus, we can get a diagnostic alert back here and be able to figure out what we want to do. If we have to call mutual aid with another district, send a bus down, whatever. Plus the fact, if we have the advisor knows who kids are on that bus. We can get word to those parents. So that's going to be a really nice part there. And just here in our own district, just staying on top of what's going on. And just the management of route times, being able to know where those buses are at and be able to move our buses around more efficiently and work with that a little bit better to, if they look like we're doubling up someplace, cleaning that up and clearing that up. Go ahead, Amy, to the next slide, please. By upgrading, we get the GPS that we don't have, and we need that to monitor our fleet. We'll be able to monitor our driver's behavior and what's going on. When we get a call, a bus is speeding or whatever, it is something that we can go to and get some more direct information. Because right now, when we get those calls, we're doing the best we can. We still have those conversations, but this will add to those conversations that we are having here. Unlimited user access. If a secretary in a building wants to see where a bus is at, they will have access to that to see where that bus is at, if it's running late, whatever. And if they have kids out on a field trip, being able, the administrator or the administrative assistant being able to look, see what is happening with the time arrival and everything. So I think that's going to help a whole lot in the communication of making us a stronger district all the way around, helping those principals, helping those building secretaries. And if a parent calls into a building, my bus didn't come, they're going to be able to answer it. They don't have to transfer that or redirect them someplace else. They're going to be able to look right there, know the bus was there, or it's coming. They'll be able to see some of that. The other nice thing about the upgrade is that if we're talking about how can we absorb a route because we can't fill it or whatever the case may be, we can see the impact it would be on the other routes that we would want to put it in, and also the timing, and also being able to get that communication out to parents. This last year, we were going to do that, and when we talked to the parents, found out that it wouldn't work for their time schedule and everything. So we were able to, this will help us, and we can do a better job in a lot quicker time than what it has been. The other thing is the bus idling. Just we did the monitored this a year ago on a pilot project of wanting to see how much our buses were just sitting around idling, and we just passed a board policy on this. This will help us kind of enforce that, and we'll have things that we can really show drivers about what's going on and help them become better stewards and working with their bus. Again, anything on the bus, we get the diagnostic alerts that can off-stay, some downtime because we can get that sooner. And as I mentioned before, we get alerts when that bus goes over a posted speed limit. We would get alert here in the office and show us where it happened at, and it gives the opportunity to have a conversation with the driver. Go ahead, Amy, to the next. A year ago, at this time, we had the opportunity to do a pilot for Zonar just to see how the software worked, and that's one of the things that we're asking you. And I forgot to mention this earlier. In that, we would get a daily report of the engine diagnostics of the buses, the bus that we would be monitoring. We would get the location, the speed, the engine speed, the idling. So it was really useful with a couple of our drivers that we had concerns about. We put it on their bus, and then we could have conversation with them. So it was a really nice tool for us to really work with that driver and kind of improve their driving habits and stay on top of what they were doing. The next slide, Amy, please. Upgrading to Transponder allows us parents access, which we don't have, in that 24/7 communication between them and transportation. Right now, we transport right around 1,400 students twice each day, roughly 95 runs per day, 30 activity trips. So knowing where these buses are, what's going on with them, if we have a bus out on a daytime activity trip and we see they're running late, we can get a substitute bus in there without a delay or without hesitation, which will help us out quite a bit. You know, as our needs evolve, the work down here evolves. We have the PK morning noon routes separate from the regular routes. We have the TK routes that we are doing. Then we have our afternoon programs, the migrant, the intramurals, the 21st century. All that we need to coordinate and be able to track better. And with more people, it helps us a lot. We want to advance learning. We want to support the learning of the students and make everything accessible as possible. And this software will help us do even a better job. We've really expanded a lot and stepped in when we needed and where we needed when asked. And we just need that help down here. As stated before, currently we're running 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I'm ending up picking up a lot of that slack, and I can't get some of the other things I'd like to get done. Having that extra personnel down here to help work this and cover this is needed. We looked at other districts our size, and we are understaffed for what we need and what we're asking of this office to do. So hopefully you will consider allowing us to add another person down here to help take care of all of the different activities we got going on and stay on top of those the best we can. And overall, next slide, please, Amy. Overall, again, going back through, the Transponder Plus software is $23,000. The Zonar part with the GPS, which we need for a lot of things we want to do to move forward, is $26,097. The total is $49,97. That comes out of sales tax. The hardware, we're going to just need some minor hardware to move us forward. That would come out of general fund. The annual software cost, the $26,150, would be a general fund expense. And an additional person, this is high, probably a little bit less than this, but would come out of the general fund for about $35,360 for that additional person here. That is what I have for your PowerPoint. Questions?
Questions for Rex? Any points of clarification?
I appreciate the work you spent doing this. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate your question last time. It helped us dig a little bit deeper to make sure we're being clear about what our expectations were and what we wanted to do.
So we're looking at about 50,000 coming from sales tax and about 4,000 coming from general fund. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Has this already been budgeted, Paulette?
The existing costs are in the current year budget. For next year's line item budget, yes, we will build this in.
Other questions? May I have a motion to approve the upgrading to Transponder Plus and increasing the administrative assistant dispatcher position to 2 full-time equivalencies?
Karina, move for approval.
Unti, second.
Hernandez, Unti, thank you both. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
Dr. Shootie, audio systems.
Yes, as the tenured board members are aware, over the course of the last 2 to 3 years, we've been implementing audio systems in all of the regular elementary classrooms in order to best ensure equity of students being able to hear the teacher's voice, which there's a lot of research behind the importance of that. It's extremely beneficial for all students, but particularly for students that may have diagnosed or undiagnosed hearing disorders, obviously our ELL population, special education. And the other benefit that we find is it's significantly helpful for preserving and protecting teacher voices as well. The last couple years, we had started off by implementing in 1 or 2 buildings a year. So Woodbury, Rogers, and Anson have these systems in place. We're looking to implement over the course of the summer in Hoagland. And then over the course of the next 1 to 2 years, we'll be looking to implement into Franklin and Fisher as well. So simply seeking your approval to continue that implementation this summer.
Questions for Dr. Shootie? And this will be funded through sales tax?
Correct.
If there are no questions, may I have a motion to approve the classroom audio systems purchase in the amount of $24,990?
Heitman, so moved.
Second, Faltus.
Heitman, Faltus, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. The motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Paulette?
Okay, the next item on the agenda is to renew our instructional support program resolution. We are currently in a 5-year resolution for this program, and it expires on June 30th of 2021. So what we would be doing tonight in asking for your support to renew this instructional support program for another 5 years, commencing with July 1st, 2021. And what this program does for the district is it allows us to expand our general fund budget, regular instructional program by about 10%. So it currently provides over about $2 million to the district each year, which this program can be used to support pretty much any general fund allowable expense. There are a couple of different ways to fund this program. You can fund it through property taxes, 100% property taxes, or a combination of property tax and income surtax. We are not deciding that tonight. We are simply renewing the resolution to extend for a 5-year period.
Questions for Paulette? May I have a motion to approve the adoption of the resolution to continue participation in the instructional support program for a period of 5 years, beginning with the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022?
Pardon me for being out of order. So moved.
Miller, second.
Unti, Miller, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same? No. The motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Dr. Shootie.
Yes, we bring before you a recommendation for increases and changes to administrative salary and benefits for 2020-2021. We're requesting the board's consideration of a 2.46 increase, which would be consistent with what was approved for the teachers or the MEA. Additionally, we're asking that a workday be repurposed into a pay holiday on Martin Luther King Day, and that provision also be extended to other 12-month employees, including secretaries, B&G custodial. We'd like to ask that the prior one paid personal day be adjusted to 2, similar to what we've approved for our teachers during the course of this year. And also that we add in-laws to the list of allowed bereavement. I think that was just simply an oversight when it was added and approved for the other contracted areas. I think we just neglected to update that for the administrative group. We also have on there providing me with the opportunity to allow administrators to work from home on days where we have school cancellations due to weather. Obviously, we're in a much better place to assure that that can happen effectively after experiencing the work from home at COVID. We've also talked to them about, the administrators, about providing their secretaries with the necessary resources so they would be in a position to do the same.
Questions for Dr. Shootie? May I have a motion to approve the administrator proposed salary and benefit changes as presented?
So moved, Faltus.
Second, Unti.
Faltus, Unti, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Ryan, secretarial.
All right, 2 pieces for recommended action, although the first is redundant now that that was passed, but the addition of MLK Junior Day, obviously, which the admin proposals spoke to that, so I don't think we need any action there. But the second is the implementation of the new salary schedule for this group of employees. And so this, as you can see on the screen, is a step schedule similar to the other employee groups. For this employee group, they did not have a regimented kind of steps that were a very clear pathway to that maximum wage. And so this is a salary schedule that would allow for that. And in order to implement this, and with a few changes that need to be made to existing secretary or administrative assistants roles in order to fit into this, the total cost is about $56,000. But I think having a clear and regimented step schedule will be beneficial for this group.
Questions for Nora? May I have a motion to approve the administrative assistant's proposed salary and benefits changes as presented?
Miller, so moved.
Unti, second.
Miller, Unti, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The motion carries 6-0. Thank you. We're already to policies and there are so few for tonight, Dr. Shootie.
Thank you for the commendation. For the first readings, we have 3 policies, which you saw in review last week. The new 200.1 organization of the board, 506.2R1, which was a new regulation use of directory information, and 506.2E1, authorization for releasing student directory information. There have been no further adjustments or changes from that initial review, so we'd ask that you amend and/or adopt as appropriate.
Questions for Dr. Shootie? May I have a motion to amend 201.7, now 200.1, and 506.2E1?
Reitman, so moved.
Second, Karina.
Heitman, Hernandez, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries 6-0. Now may I have a motion to adopt 506.2 R1?
Heitman, so moved.
Second, Faltus.
Heitman, Faltus, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries 6-0.
For initial review, there is one policy, 312.3 R or E1, fringe benefits administrators supervisors. The adjustments on this policy reflect the previous decision the board made in improving the administrative language and salary changes. This would come back for a first reading.
Questions for Dr. Shootie at this time? All righty. Looky how fast we got through those, Mike.
Awesome.
Adam, any
Well-
items of note in communications?
Well, first, I just want to say that might be the record shortest set of policies that I've seen in all the years coming to board meetings. So
That's only because we got Dr. Shootie to hold up just a bit.
well. So for an update, like you heard earlier from Dr. Stevenson, I am going to continue to make sure that whatever changes come down the road as far as online learning, the Learn from Home website, any paper materials we hand out, just continuing to ensure that those updated messages are shared out promptly with parents and families, and doing so in a way that reflects the linguistic diversity at our district. And then the other thing I wanted to briefly mention was I am working on, in conjunction with folks from the AEA, new kind of design for the high school ready standards or indicators that you all passed, I think, in February. So we're preparing to have those sent to Miller Middle School here this summer, just kind of posters and other things showing students and staff those goals that we have made and implementing that. It'll be obviously kind of a continuation of the Bobcat Ready standards that already exist. So,
Questions for Adam? Thank you for the update, Adam. Looking at reminders, the Auditorium Foundation meets virtually tomorrow on Tuesday, May 19th. Our next regular board meeting is June 1st. Moving on to committee reports, we had a Labor Management Committee meeting. Nora, could you give us a quick summary?
Sure. We discussed two main topics during that meeting. The first was the
We can't hear you anymore. Still no. I'm sure it's a nice update, Nora, but we can't hear you. And she probably can't hear us. Can anybody read lips? No.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey! I got the whole thing. Okay, here we go. Really quickly. Two topics were discussed. Paulette, I can see you. So if you all of a sudden can't hear me, can you just like do this? Okay. First topic we discussed was the paraeducators came to the table basically asking for the paid time off to all be in one bank. And through discussion, it really came out that the main ask was for more family sick time. And that was kind of really at the core, what they were asking for was more family sick time. So that was something that we discussed. And so obviously we'll have we will ponder that and consider that now that leaves are in the handbook. That is not in the contracts anymore. So that was their ask. And then the second thing that we discussed was, I just had posed the question, I guess I was trying to understand the history of why we had 4 different bargaining units for the support groups and why they weren't in one collective unit. And so really it was just a conversation about the history there. And it just came out really that in the 70s, B&G organized, and also food service. And, just there wasn't really an answer. It was just kind of the timeline of what happened. And so we had just had a very brief conversation about the idea, not proposing it or suggesting it, but the idea of the support groups becoming one collective unit, obviously with different needs and different benefits in a sense, as far as time off, and some of them are 12-month employees. But that was a short conversation that we had, and that was pretty much it for the Labor Management Committee meeting.
Thank you. We heard all of that.
Yay.
Okay, moving on. What have we done this evening to make education better for the students in Marshalltown Community School District?
B, I thought it was a really nice report by Lisa by all of the stuff that we're doing in summer school. Even with all the challenges, I thought that their agenda for summer school is really good, big one. So good job there.
Thank you.
And I think that the classroom audio system, continuing to do that, having sat in a classroom, and I don't remember where it was, one of the buildings that has that, the difference in being able to hear the teacher and understand what's going on is significant. So I think that's a good thing.
Thank you.
I'm quite excited about our support for the instructional support program.
Thank you. It certainly does bring a big chunk of change into the district.
And thank you to Jackie for coordinating a graduation for our seniors. Being a senior mom, I appreciate that.
Indeed, in these strange times. Well, my quote comes from Martin Luther King Jr., and it's about those strange, tough times that we're talking about. He says, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." With that, I would encourage everyone to de-water and water. Take a break. It's now 6:15. Let's meet back on the Google site for our closed session at 6:25. Is that workable for everybody?
Yep.
We'll see you there. 6:25 on the Google site.
Thank you.